Operators not allow visitors to ride 3 across. I suggested warning signs that might be more effective at warning parents to watch their young children's feet. I wrote 17 letters in all. All of my offers to help were politely refused. Disneyland conducted their accident investigation and made changes to the ride while David was still in the hospital. No one from their technical staff contacted me as part of this process, nor did they contact the ex-paramedic who was riding directly behind us, who saw everything David did and played a key role in the rescue effort. Disneyland decided not to enclose the sides of the ride. Instead, they attached a wooden ramp to the front side of the platform in the hopes that a protruding foot would be more likely to bounce off a ramp and not be caught in the 1-inch gap that still exists between the cars and the platform. And now their stock warning reads, keep hands, arms, and feet inside. I believe that amusement ride safety is the joint responsibility of the parks and their visitors, but visitors can't fully exercise that responsibility if they don't know what to watch for. Accidents should be treated as hard-earned lessons, not dirty secrets to be hidden away. Industry figures attribute 60 to 80% of all amusement ride accidents to rider error. That means that the majority of accidents are preventable through public education. Show people the consequences of their actions. I think it's dangerous to create the illusion of a magic kingdom where nothing bad ever happens, no matter what you do. If you look at the document I gave you, and I hope Gary did give it to you, about 911 statistics from Anaheim, thank you. If you look at the document I gave you, you'll see that the Anaheim Fire Department answered almost 1,000 911 calls to Disneyland in 1998, the year David was injured. There were 50 calls for traumatic injuries, 4 for electrocutions, 43 for falls and traumatic back injuries. That's 97 traumas serious enough to require paramedic attention. I don't know how many of those calls were ride-related. Because accidents aren't reported to the state, we have no way of knowing. I do know that one of those calls was made because a 5-year-old boy's foot was torn in half on the Thunder Mountain Railroad. I know that another of those calls was made because a metal cleat from the Columbia sailing ship killed a visitor and seriously injured his wife and a Disneyland employee. I think consumers have a right to know why those other 95 emergency calls were made. And the honest part of all this to me is that I believe Disneyland and the other California theme parks are remarkably safe considering the thousands of whirling, twirling steel parts that bring us our thrills. I commend the parks for the enormous time and attention they put toward engineering safe rides and training operators to care for the millions of people who visit each year. But they can't do it all alone. Safety is everybody's business. The California Permanent Amusement Ride Safety Act, authored by Tom Torlakson, offers the kind of common sense regulation that has been working in other states for years. The general manager of Knott's Berry Farm, who pioneered Ohio's safety legislation, said that he has nothing to fear from a second set of eyes. The bill has received popular support from across the state. Newspapers from the LA Times to the San Francisco Chronicle favor its passage. Most of the California residents I've spoken with not only agree that oversight is necessary, they thought it was already in place. The LA Times polled 900 people in March and found that 88% thought amusement park injuries should be reported to the state. The people of California have spoken. It's up to the members of this committee to listen. Stand up for the millions of people who visit California's permanent amusement parks each year. Don't let special interests confuse the issue. All we're asking is that the state keep an eye on industry to ensure that consumer interests are being protected, and that the secrets stop now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Beckler. Appreciate your coming here to testify, and David, too.
He's my guy.
Hope you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Dressler?
Kathy Dressler, Children's Advocacy Institute and Center for Public Interest Law. Children's Advocacy Institute is very interested as well in seeing that permanent amusement parks are regulated the same as the traveling amusement parks. We believe that the amusement park industry spends an incredible amount of marketing dollars and time and attention to the atmosphere in their parks to encourage their patrons to be very carefree and enjoy the time, and we appreciate that they do that. It's a wonderful respite from hard workaday lives. But because they do that, it seems to encourage the heedlessness of youth. You know, the carefree, eager to have a good time nature of children in amusement parks. They're very anxious to go and get in the next line, to get on the next ride, to go on as many rides as possible in the short time that they're going to be able to stay at the park. And because they are a bit reckless, we think that there is a higher duty on the part of the park to make sure that there's adequate supervision and signage, and that they have enough protections in place to make sure that children are kept in check, and that their eagerness to get to the next ride is kept in check. For those reasons, we continue to have a few concerns about the rider responsibility portion of the bill in Section 7926, but are very happy to work with the author to continue to address some of those concerns. We want to make sure that there isn't any shift of the burden that currently rests with park operators to make sure that kids are safe. We want to make sure that there is adequate supervision to keep kids in check. And so, but we're happy to see the bill go along, and we're glad that the legislature is again attempting to regulate this industry, which is largely safe, but there still are significant injuries there that need to be reported, and changes that need to be made so that we don't have so many serious injuries.
Thank you, Ms. Dressler. I want to just take a moment to introduce the principal co-author of the bill, sitting in the front row here, Assemblymember Lou Correa. Welcome. Lou, and if you want to say anything, you're welcome to do so.
Mr. Chair and fellow members, just wanted to say that 2 weeks ago I came before this committee proposing a compilation of accident data that would provide information to the legislature and the public. Assemblymember Torlikson's recent amendments address our concerns regarding the reporting of accidents. Therefore, we've pulled our bill and fully support AB850, which will ensure the safety of amusement park visitors and have information made available to the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Correa.
It's been a pleasure working with Mr. Correa on this.
I'll continue to work with Mr. Torlikson.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
Ray Rieger.
Yes, my name is Ray Rieger. I've been actively involved in many parts of the amusement industry for the past 13 years, the biggest portion of it being a safety inspector for the Division of Occupational Safety and Health, inspecting carnival rides, portable equipment under the current legislation as it exists. Over the last few years, I've also worked with several major insurance companies doing loss control services. That's going out and investigating incidents and also providing loss control to minimize claims. I'd also like to add many echoes to what Kathy has said here. I think that if you were to poll any number of people standing in line at a ride at a major amusement park, they would be shocked to find out that there is no regulation whatsoever at that amusement park. I know of no other activity that accommodates so many people that has absolutely no regulation. And I hear a lot of analogies made, but I like to use an analogy here that might be a little bit unusual. And if you would, please envision a train. Everybody has had an opportunity to ride a train over the years. And you wouldn't think that a train would be able to operate in the state of California or anywhere in this country without some sort of regulation. The train follows the track. How could anything possibly go wrong? All the other analogies that you hear with incidents and injuries about automobiles and other things, these people, or these equipment are in the hands of people. You can steer